Everybody, welcome. Another live stream, X's and Noles, presented by Noles 24/7. Trey Rowland, Kevin Little, Adam Brown, and today we are here to talk to you about Charleston. No, we're not. We're going to be looking at the OC candidates for Florida State's position. Last week we looked at the defensive coordinator candidates. Some interesting names. Some of that news is starting to coalesce a little bit more. Obviously, if you're subscribed to Noles 24/7, you would know that already. If you're not, shame. Fix it. But today we're going to be talking about the offensive coordinator candidates, and there are some names. I think we're going to be talking about 4 guys today, 2 based on some of the intel. I think it's a little early to say like front runners for the position, things like that, but there have been some names in this group that have started to rise to the top, if you will. What do we think before we get right into the film, Adam and Kev? What do you guys think about this crop of guys that they're looking at right now that are associated with Florida State? Young, exciting, flashy. What do you guys think?
Yeah, they kind of exist in 2 camps. You have 2 guys that are very run heavy, one out of UNLV, one out of Tulane, whereas you got 2 kind of pass heavy offensive coordinators out of Pittsburgh and Washington, 2 places that have traditionally put out more of an air raid style offense. So, those are kind of interesting ideas that they're kind of pursuing both ends of the spectrum. And I'll kind of get to the stats later, but it seems like they're looking for young up and comers instead of necessarily whittling down a specific style. And I think that's an interesting approach, and we'll kind of see what they're looking for when hiring time comes.
Adam, are you encouraged by some of these names? Obviously, with this hire, this was one of those like barometers that we were going to test. Like, is this Mike Norvell 2.0? Will he give up control or at least some modicum of influence on this offense? By the 4 names that you see here, do you think that? Are you encouraged or are you discouraged?
Maybe I'm in between.
Oh, lukewarm.
Yeah, I think I'm going to ride the fence on this one. I think Craddock would be outside the box. There's like a very distant tie to Mike.
Through like Malzahn or something.
Arbuckle would be way, way out in left field for Mike. Bell would be a little more close to home, and then Brennan Marion, obviously there's a lot of ties there, direct ties for Mike. I think the offense itself that Marion runs is I think it's going to look different for people on like paper, but I think there's a ton of similarities to what Mike has always wanted to try to be. And obviously with the ties. So I think Marion's the safest hire for Mike. Which maybe that's a good thing or a bad thing. So I think of the candidates, I think it's a mixed bag. I think there's a lot of safe, some dangerous, kind of all over the place with
interesting. And it's funny you say he'd be the safest hire. That's because Brennan's a known quantity. Brennan Marion, that's the UNLV offensive coordinator. Is that why you say it'd be the
No,
safest?
Because I think it emulates kind of what Mike is and what he wants an offense to kind of look like. While the X's and O's of it maybe with some of the option stuff might be different than what we've seen from Mike as far as wanting to be a run-based offense, wanting to take vertical shot plays. That's kind of what I see when I watch that offense. So I think that's why I feel like it's more safe, because it's probably the closest offense to what Mike wants to be.
Spiritually similar, philosophically similar. Well, let's get to that, because that's a name that's kind of been rising most to the top, and that's UNLV offensive coordinator Brennan Marion. He actually played under Mike Norvell at Tulsa when Mike was a quality control, and he was when Mike was there, he was a quality control assistant under Mike at Arizona State. He's been wide receiver coach at Hawaii, Pitt, Texas. He's been at UNLV for the past couple years. Kev, go gadget offense. Let's go. I've actually never seen UNLV's offense. I've heard tales of its effectiveness in the video game world, and people are telling me it's going to blow my mind. So let's see what this is all about.
Yeah, so the go-go offense is something that's kind of tied to Marion. It's been around for a minute with him, and it's kind of just based off this formation where you're in the shotgun and you have 2 running backs to the same side of the quarterback.
Whoa, now come on.
Yeah, so in a lot of ways, it works like a traditional like 21-20 personnel, just a two-back shotgun set. But you can do a little bit more passing game stuff out of it. You can kind of treat that further running back as like a little bit of a slot receiver, yet still can be incorporated into the run game. So they can do some creative stuff out of that. It's one of those things where it's like you watch enough football and it's not that revolutionary, but it's interesting and it gives different looks. And I mean, I think it'd be foolish to think that it's not some part of why UNLV's found some success, with him as offensive coordinator.
And what year is this from? Because he's been there for 2 years. So what year
This
are we
is from
looking at
24. This is against Syracuse.
Oh, this year. Okay.
Do we have any of this? Do we have any data like his run pass splits?
Yeah, so he's a run heavy guy. They're 63% run percentage, which is seventh in the country this year. They do a decent amount of man runs, so duo, power, pull lead, which is what this system calls the down scheme. Does not run a lot of inside zone and runs almost no counter. So
ooh, interesting.
But I think that's more of an effective kind of how it's classifying this. So instead of counter, they're running power, which is probably just being classified because of the lead blocker being a running back, and it kind of changes how you want to classify that man run. But still kind of similar schematically, run game wise. Not heavy outside zone. So I guess we'll kind of see. We'll get a feel for that run game as we get into it. They do a lot of triple option, a lot of reads out of it.
Vertical passing game.
The passing game. Yeah, actually, all of these teams are kind of Norvellian in the sense that
Norvellian.
They really avoid the 1 to 10 yard range. So I'm going to say this a lot, but yeah, his passing splits look a lot like Norvell.
Here you go, first play.
He actually pushes the ball downfield, like 20 yards downfield, plus 22% of the time, which is fourth in the country. So, yeah, they're really run the ball, take a shot. So there's your go-go formation. 2 running backs to the same side of the ball, and they're going to take a shot.
I love it. Two in there for pass pro, which I'm sure FSU offensive line aficionados appreciate. All right, let's see. This looks very similar.
Yeah, but it's a end over type of formation because you've got trying to go backwards on this is not fun. So you've got 2 receivers on the ball, and you're going to have the receiver down here at the bottom come in a return orbit motion, setting up some option.
Yeah, one of those receivers is not eligible at the top of the screen, so it's just an unbalanced set, trying to get a different look.
They're running some lead option here.
Yeah, they've been way more kind of triple option oriented at UNLV than what Mike tends to run.
Well, their quarterback this year bailed in the middle of the season, right?
Yeah.
And because of NIL stuff.
Yes.
So I wonder how much
UNLV. Yeah, the Sluka kid.
Yeah. What's the numbers look like from 23 to 24? Like how have they shifted? Has there been a shift at all? So here's a little slot fade. Obviously, another staple of the Mike Norvell passing offense.
They look fairly similar, at least in the passing game. They're taking more shots downfield this year.
I was just wondering the splits, if they threw it a little bit more with a quarterback that they trusted. You're on your backup this year. You might just lean into the run a little bit more.
A little bit more. I mean, they run the ball. They pass the ball 36% of the time this year and 45% of the time last year. So both kind of those are both very low numbers.
So there's some power.
Okay, what do you see here from the line play there, Adam?
Let me set it up here for him. So they're going to run power here. It's going to be same side power. So this guy is going to turn out. You're going to get down block, down or back block, and then pull and lead.
Yeah, the main difference between power and counter is that usually the tight end is going to be the one doing the kick out block. So you can see that here on the end, and then the guard is working up to the second level. Where with counter, it's the opposite. You see the guard doing the kick out block, and the tight end or tackle, whoever
play there.
follows.
Tight end just kind of gets his butt kicked.
Yep.
Yeah, you did a good job getting to the second level.
Mm-hmm.
So it's technically a different run, but it's the same vein as counter.
A lot of formation variation.
This is kind of funky. What's going on? Is that tight? That tight end's off the line of scrimmage, right?
Yeah, this is a little tight bunch here. This is fun.
Oh, boom, easy
So
peasy.
This is probably an RPO, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking so.
So RPO stick here.
But you're going to have duo run game to the front side. Look at the gaps you create. We'll get a better view when we get the end zone view. So you get this huge bubble. You can run duo in here with your running back and run some zone read stuff front side here. And then you've got those two. Ooh, yeah, wow. Surprising.
It's a big bubble.
Yep. Throwing it to space.
Yeah, probably seeing that linebacker kind of committing to the run game. No, I think it's a fresh look. There's some more go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, that's kind of fun.
There's more of a willingness to be tricky, to do some fun stuff, which you need in modern offense.
And I do like them throwing a bunch of formations out. Like normally we'll see some like diversity on that first scripted drive of the game. And then we've been normally seeing, at least this year, kind of falling back into a lull, right? Like every drive forward. I'd like to see the variability, the creativity like happen the entire game.
This is a very Mike Norvell formation here.
And they're showing pin and pull. I believe it was pin and pull.
Yeah, it looked like it.
Yeah, they're showing pin and pull on the front side with a bubble off the back. So 2-and-1 plays. We've seen some of that stuff from Mike Norvell.
Yeah, but different formations every snap. I think it kind of gets back to who Mike Norvell was at Memphis. I mean,
it is a scripted drive.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's important to note. And I'm curious as we go along here.
This is still this is all still from the first drive.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. It's a lot of stuff.
So here's the
same play.
Same play, Flip the field, had success with it the first time, come back to it.
Yeah, it's hard to tell if he's reading that or if it's just a kind of pre-snap, sees the leverage.
So this tells me that he's not running a true script. He's got a script, but he deviated from it already. You
just go to something that works.
When you go out and run the same play back to back, you're not putting that on script.
Okay.
All right, so here's some funky splits.
This is a Tennessee formation.
This is cool stuff.
Yeah.
So when they do something like that, Kev, what kind of bind does it put the defense in with that like ultra wide set on the outside with the compressed splits on the inside? Like, what do you see here? Like, what kind of bind does that put you in? Besides making that guy run all the way the hell out there.
Yeah, just look at him.
I mean, this safety is your apex safety at the bottom here. He's kind of splitting the difference. He's in no man's land. There's a deep safety
guy running up there.
I mean, that's the power of doing different formations and kind of giving different looks. And honestly, it just feels like something that Norvell hasn't been doing that much recently. I mean, if you go back to kind of some of the games we've been watching, and we've seen that same too tight pistol set just over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a big run just from formational alignment.
Mm-hmm.
The Syracuse did not know how to align to this. But AB's got a point. This is a script, so it's hard to know.
It's a good call. But just any way you can put any sort of pause in the defense, I like. Whether it's with eye candy motion stuff or even just formational diversity.
And they run power out of it too. So you're going to get safeties out of the box. They've got to stay. You've pretty much forced them to be too high based on alignment, and then you're going to get power. So you've got 1, 2, 3.5. You're going to get a fourth over here. So 4.5 on 1, 2.5 once you run the ball. So he's finding ways to get numbers. He's finding ways to manipulate the secondary and the safeties and give himself good opportunities and easy, clean reads for his quarterback. I think the year with Sark probably did him some good as far as philosophy and understanding how to manipulate defenses.
Yeah,
we know all about this, dude.
Yeah. Don't bring that with a go-go offense. More. So we saw the tight bunch earlier. It's spread out a little bit more this time. You got the back split out here in a diamond look, a compressed diamond look, and you're going to bring him in orbit motion. Looks like they were going to throw off of. So I don't know what the back was going to do exactly, but again, just more looks, more stuff to have.
Fun stuff, yeah.
A ton of eye candy, which is fun. You know, pre-snap eye candy with the formations, pre-snap eye candy with the motions, just stuff defenses they've got to think about.
There you go, buddy. Get rid of it. Good decision there. All right,
3rd and 20.
Let's see what he dials up.
Screen.
Yeah,
A little different look from his trips.
Nah, bro, you're gonna sling it, brother. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that's that first drive, like you said. Let's see what they do from here.
Yeah, got derailed from a bad snap, but you can kind of see why people would be excited about this. You know, you can see he's given looks that no one else is giving. He's kind of mixing things up, and he's punching above his weight. I mean, if I look at his F+ stats as an offensive coordinator, the year before he got there, they were 103rd in the country.
Oof.
First year they went to 45th. Second year they were 36th, and that's opponent adjusted.
More RPO looks here. I like this. I like how modern this run game is with all the different RPO stuff. We've been kind of clamoring about to wanting to see more of that from Norvell's passing attack and his run game.
Yeah, seeing power is interesting because it hits faster, and you worry less about the kind of misreads that you get in counter.
Mm-hmm. Here's power pass.
You guys got any concerns with the quarterbacks on the roster running something like this right now?
No, not honestly, no.
Yeah, me neither.
I think they both could do this stuff. I don't know. I mean, you know, Saluk or whatever the young man's name was.
Sluka,
yeah. I mean, he's obviously out there.
That's interesting.
Would you look at maybe bringing him in? He's obviously got a year experience in this offense. You could bring him in. I mean, I'm of the opinion, I think you roll with Luke and you build your offense around him for next year.
No,
and then long term. But that's just my opinion on it. But it depends. We'll see what Mike wants to do. I mean, is he trying to chase 12 wins next year? And
it's a good point. And then we start to think about like the decisions, like, are we going to be? We got to look through these things of a prism of job security, because that becomes an actual factor in a lot of these decision making. But from what I'm seeing, the stress isn't really on the quarterback with like the decision making, like high level decision making. The stress is just knowing all these formations and all the crap you got to do pre-snap and post and everything.
Yeah, I mean this offense looks modern in the sense of it's easy on the quarterback to read.
Yeah, he misses a read here. I think this looks like a sail concept. You'll see a nice deep corner route opening up
got
late.
Stack receivers though. We've seen some of that from Norvell, trying to get good releases for his guys.
So right here, you'll see break off at the 50-yard line. He's there.
He's got to hit that.
But I mean that happens. He took the yards. It's now 3rd and manageable.
44 is right on his ass, dude. It's
true,
funny from the reverse
angle,
angle,
which is interesting. So they put a true fullback in for pass pro, as opposed to putting a running back in.
Man, I wonder what Syracuse is doing with a safety 30 yards back. But I mean, that's what you do when you push the ball downfield legitimately as much as they do.
Now you got
Syracuse is worried about them taking the top of the ball.
Tight end in the backfield to help pass pro. Quarterback's playing pretty decent.
Oh yeah. I don't understand this Luka talk. This kid's played as well, if not better.
All right, so here's a repeat formation. This is one of the first times we've seen repeat formation. We talked about it earlier. Running duo. Is that what they run here? Let's see. Yep.
Dude. Demolished.
Well, let's see it from the backside, actually.
That's the type of stuff we thought Florida State was going to do more this year, right?
Yeah. What's their tempo numbers, Kev?
That's a good question.
Squeaks through that hole. Nice job by that running back.
So came back to it, not quite as wide of an alignment from the edge this time, but came back to a formation they had on the scripted drive and came back to a run.
Yeah, 8th in yards per rush, 19th in yards per attempt, 14th in explosive play rate. Their success rate's a little bit lower at 44th. Time of possession per play, 75th. So they're not particularly
Not super fast.
fast. Yeah.
It's interesting. It's more unbalanced.
Yeah.
EPA's got to be through the roof.
Yeah, I mean they're pretty successful in basically everything they do. To have the schedule they've played, which I mean isn't the toughest, and be listed as the 36th best offense means you're making the most of your opportunities for the most part.
All right, here's some funky stuff. We got an extra
He's
lineman
doing
on the
goal
field.
line, yeah.
So we got like 13 personnel with an extra lineman in. They're going to run a little pop pass.
Oh,
Good ball.
Hey,
Oh.
nice.
oh man. Preston Daniel used to catch those for us.
Yeah, but here we are. We're in the
psychology stuff. This is.
Yeah, it's fun.
I think
right?
there's a lot of the word gimmicky is getting thrown around a lot, and I would call it somewhat gimmicky. There's some gimmicky stuff to it, but like it's not. That's not how I would define it. But
that's what Norvell's been missing these past 2 years.
Yeah, you got to do stuff like that to get easy plays. Like,
yeah.
Go watch Texas. They're gimmicky as crap. No one's calling them gimmicky because they're wearing.
don't be afraid
Texas
to find
logo.
an easy play for your guys. It doesn't have to be rocket science.
You're absolutely right, Adam. You don't have to line up in the same formation 100. Like, just it's all about just getting the right looks and getting the right matchups. And Norvell, we talked to him for an hour and change on this show. He's a matchup guy.
Right.
Go
just
back to that play.
This will get him
Which
great
one?
matchups.
Just this one at the beginning.
All right, let me all the way back to the beginning for you.
Look, okay, so you got two backs in the backfield. This isn't the go-go, but you run enough of these little RPOs with these two running backs. Watch one of the running backs release out into the flats.
I think people get like caught up with the go-go. This is an eye back offense, an eye backfield with the quarterback in the shotgun.
Right. I'm less worried about the go and more worried about that they run a lot of two-back sets, and I think that's kind of unique for modern college football. But watch, that back carried two guys out with him when he released to the flats, because they had in previous games run this RPO to running back in the flats using their two running back system. Well, now that opens it up. So watch two guys follow 22 out or follow 9 out into the flats. Those two guys open up that slant behind them.
I didn't think I'd feel this way, but I can really tell that this dude is influenced by Mike Norvell from like watching what he does.
See, I actually think he's got more Sark in him anymore.
Do you?
There's some Norvell stuff in there,
yeah.
but all the formations, all the motion, like
the bad
that's
snaps.
Norvell.
Yeah.
Manipulating flat defenders, like putting one read stuff for his quarterback and putting a guy in a bind with a if this then that. It reeks of Sark. Not reeks. It really screams Sark to me.
I mean, I think Sark's the current best offensive mind in the game. So if you're going to learn from anybody,
I agree.
No, I mean, I like the offense. The quarterback really hasn't had to make many reads. But he's done a couple RPOs, which are just very simple reads. He missed his one multi-read pass in the whole game, and it doesn't really matter. They're about to take the lead.
I think if you get a good offensive line coach with this offense, it could do very, very well.
Right.
Like,
the problem with this offense is that it's not going to be able to pass the ball well if you can't run the ball.
That's what worries me.
So it doesn't really fix your problem of
what
happens if you can't run the football.
Yeah, you're kind of everything. It's like that house of cards, like what this offense
Mhm.
was built on this year, and it'll be. I don't know how much improvement you're going to get out of this offensive line year to year without a
Well, you're gonna have to go in the portal.
mass.
I mean,
Yeah, like
you
for
gotta go get.
everybody.
Yeah, you've got to go build an offensive line through the portal.
You also have to have a receiver that can win a one-on-one route against Syracuse.
Yeah, I mean, this is just. Yeah,
It's a
shit.
good
Go get
one.
this kid. Quarterback playing well.
Yeah, no, I like this quarterback.
What's this guy's name?
I don't even know.
I forgot his name, but he's been balling out. Yeah, I mean, Sluka looked good too, but yeah, plug and play.
And get a wide receiver that can dance like that after a touchdown.
Yeah, that's
Get a
how
wide
we
receiver
like that.
can score a
We-
touchdown.
They've missed that.
It's just, dude, they're gonna have to. They need production. They
Oh,
need
he's a
production. Well, there you go. Thank you, Lerone. Well, get somebody. I like we said, I could see Luke. I could see Brock easily running this offense. There's not a lot of stuff asked of them. They're going to get a lot of good looks. It's just you got to run the ball, dude. Just pump that money into the trenches.
So many variations of trips. So many different variations, which is cool.
Trips is the hardest formation to defend.
It's the best formation in football. It puts defenses in the biggest bind and forces you to define your coverage.
You know what I haven't
like-
seen? A bunch of 2 tight end sets.
Well, yeah, thank God. But here's a screen and it got completed. But what's neat is like you think of what we've seen and come to know with Norvell's offense. It's been 2 or 3 different variations of trips, but they all kind of line up in the same place. They really just kind of move the tight end around. But this has been tight bunch, spread bunch, compressed bunch. We've seen a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah, and Adam, they mess with which positions are involved in the trips. They mess with the width of the trips. They mess with like who's on and who's. It's very like there you go. Here's another compressed one.
Yeah, we've seen that twice now. I think with it being 12 personnel.
And there's not just
that's not 12. That's 13.
There's
13 personnel.
Yeah, they're trying to run the ball.
All right. I'm good. I'm good with this.
Better than when you started?
Look, I've heard enough stuff like that gives me pause on like this guy as a coach, but the offense is fun, and I've never had any complaints about the offense. The offense is fun. Like Kev has kind of said, when the run game isn't there, then what? That worries me.
Mm-hmm.
But he does seem to have answers. Like there do seem to be enough answers because he's got so many formations he can get into.
Mm-hmm. A little bit more.
Like I think if you can't run the ball, he's going to spread you to the sidelines with that Tennessee Bryles stuff, and then he's going to try to run the ball like that.
Okay.
So
good with Brennan Marion. Would you like to move on to the next candidate?
No, I want to keep watching this.
Yeah, this is nice. I like that the motions felt purposeful this year. Like all of FSU's motions were just like, let's move Morlock 3 inches further inside.
We were reaching, dude. We were reaching. Yeah. The next one, let's talk about Joe Craddock, the Tulane offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
He has worked as an offensive coordinator under Chad Morris at Arkansas. He has been at Tulane. He was at Troy for a couple years. This is his first year with Tulane. They have a very effective offense. He's from Alabama, so he's got regional ties. He's got that kind of like Chad Morris, Malzahn connection to Mike Norvell. He's a hot name, and Oklahoma is very interested in Joe Craddock. Got some coaching experience at Clemson. And Tulane has great S&P Plus. I think they're a top 20 offense in the entire country, which is very impressive. So let's see what he does. This is another one of those run-heavy guys you were talking about, right, Kev?
Yeah, so like you were saying, Tulane jumped from the 69th best offense in 2023 to the 19th per F+. So, yeah, they're sitting as a top 20 offense. Hold on, I'm getting my stats set up from looking up things earlier. They're a run-heavy team, just like we saw at a UNLV. They do it a little bit differently. They pass the ball only 35% of the time, which is one of the lowest in the country. 131 out of I think 135. And again, not trying to throw short passes. When they throw, they're going to push it downfield. 4th in the country in attempts, 11 to 20 yards downfield, and then 25th and 21 yards plus. So throwing the ball intermediate to long, kind of like Norvell likes to do anyways. Yeah, so I think this is another one where the kind of the vibe is similar, right? They're a run first team that's going to then try to throw the ball deep. So very much mimics how Mike Norvell's run his teams before. Run game wise, again, heavy power, not going to run a lot of inside zone. Yeah, I mean, honestly, from just an outside perspective, they mimic what we're seeing out of UNLV in terms of like broad kind of
philosophically form. What they like, how they like to score points. They like to do it in the same fashion, power run, deep throws. We'll see how they get there, like what he puts his stamp on it. I don't think we have Tulane all 22, but we have Troy when he was the offensive coordinator at Troy, right?
Yeah, so I can pull up the Troy all 22.
Adam, you watch any Tulane this year or any Troy from 2 years ago?
No, I watched the Tulane game from the other day.
What'd you think?
I mean, this is my guy.
This is your guy.
This is my guy. Yeah,
why do you say that?
Guy. I think it's a better blend of passing attack and run game. I think it's a little healthier.
Okay.
A healthier combination. But we'll see. Let's watch. Watch the people judge for themselves.
Similar to the UNLV stuff.
Yeah, 2-back set, just run and stick. First play of the game.
In your face, Roadrunners.
Uh-oh.
Nice. LimeWire virus.
Devil is that?
It's whatever you want it to be.
Good stuff. Let me know when that's back up. Okay, so you saw, as far as like any formation stick out at you, Adam, any passing concepts? I know you said it was a healthier mix. Why do you think? Why is it? Did it just synergize a little bit better than UNLV's?
There was more of an attempt to run like short crossers, that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. For like variety.
Modern offense games. I think you need some of that in modern offense.
We've been calling for it this year, brother. I can tell you that.
There's counter.
I like counter. People hate it. I think it's a good play.
Oh, it's a good play. You just got to run it well.
Yeah.
When you can read your blocks, it's very effective. Yeah. See 2022, this team.
Oh.
Should have been picked. Craddock's got a pretty good track record. I mean, they came into so he's from the Chad Morris background. He's from the Chad Morris tree, obviously the Gus tree. So there's some Mike connections there. That's kind of the extent of it. But
there's power.
Yeah. But he was at Clemson. Then they were at Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
Then he went to Troy, improved things at Troy. Went to Tulane, improved things at Tulane. I mean, they're top 25 in the country this year at Tulane.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like you're kind of like looking at one of those at that playoff spot for the G5, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So very similar RPO glance. It's been everywhere. But it's the formation. It's this motion. It's the stack. It gets just a free release.
Yep.
Because these guys are waiting for the receivers to declare. And by the time that happens, he's already got the ball. So we'll see how it opens up now that they're in the open field. Yeah, similar stuff. Formational diversity, shifts.
And then shift with emotion. My God.
You're blown away, Adam. You like that, don't you?
It's going to be refreshing. Not that I have any qualms with the Mike Norvell offense.
But with this type of stuff you're seeing here, shifts, motions, why is it so beneficial in modern college football? Why has Florida State kind of shied away from it?
I don't know why the hell Florida State shied away from it.
But what does it do to put the defense in a bind?
Just creates doubt. It creates doubt. It creates thinking. It makes them have to be reactionary as opposed to just lining up and saying, "Okay, I know where I'm going to be."
Yeah, I didn't look up this game beforehand, so this could be an absolute disaster of a game, but at least we would get to see
By golly, that looks familiar.
Yeah, the guard just whiffing. Then a missed pass.
But you see 2-back set, bunch formation.
Oh, here's some tight bunch. Okay, so a little under center, which is interesting.
Yeah, let's see if they're still doing that.
It could just be a down in your own end, backed up in your own end type of deal.
No, I mean they're
some more.
120th in terms of under center, or sorry, shotgun rate, which means they're 15th in terms of under center rate.
Oh,
So they go under center about 15% of the time.
what do we think? As a center myself, refreshing to see. What do you think about that, Adam? Are you a shotgun devotee? Do you not give a shit about
diversity. It just gives you more stuff to do. You can get to some more play action stuff. I don't know. I think that's the biggest benefit to being able to get it under center some more.
We thought we'd see a lot more of it this year too. Oh man, bad snaps, dude. These offensive coordinators are going to feel right at home.
Let's try to. I think we have better games. Although this,
I don't mind watching the muddy. I don't mind watching oh dude, 18. What are y'all doing? I don't mind watching a muddy.
2 questions.
Oh, 2. Okay, someone's greedy. Go ahead, William.
Yeah, what is the Cure Bowl? Never heard of this one.
I don't know. What are they curing?
I think it's just what they're calling the game. This is a regular season game. I'm pretty sure.
Maybe it's for brined meats. It's that type of cure.
Which OC would be the most impactful for quarterback development that translates to the NFL? That's interesting.
I don't think a lot of these guys have a lot of
Marion's a
dudes that they could talk about that way, right?
Marion is best breast cancer. Okay.
Oh, well, that is
that's what the Cure Bowl is. All right.
Good. Well, thank you, dude. Larone is just, mad, dude, very full of information. Thank you, sir.
Marion's a wide receiver guy by nature. Obviously, played wide receiver, and then coached wide receivers. He's a very good wide receiver coach. He's the best. He's going to be the best recruiter of all the guys we're going to talk about. And I think we should be very clear. Craddock and Marion are the two that we think are
separating themselves from the pack.
Yeah. The two that kind of hear about the most and think are the two that are going to probably really in the running at this point of the 4 we're going to discuss.
I think so too. And the thing about, and I'm not sure Craddock's background as far as the position he coaches. I'm assuming he's a QB guy. Mm-hmm. Now bringing in this is a good question to answer Bill's thing. Bringing in a guy like Marion, he's coaching quarterbacks now at UNLV, but with that really that pedigree, that background, coaching Jordan Addison, coaching Xavier Worthy. He comes in as your wide receiver coach, then you really could actually bring in a quarterbacks coach that has a really great lineage and pedigree of developing NFL guys that a lot of these young OCs that we're in the market for this year don't have. Yeah. He brings you a little bit of added flexibility of what you can do with your staff.
So this is an interesting question. Yes, Craddock has a quarterback at Tulane who's pretty good. I don't know if he'd be bringing him with him if he were to come here, but the potential's there.
The package deal potential. That's a good. You got to look at that.
Steven's quite frustrated with the film we're watching. Not for us, but that we would be considering somebody like this. But this is at Troy. This is, I think, their first year at Troy. There's a lot more.
Yeah, they're doing a lot more.
We would watch. This looks a lot better.
The Tulane. We would watch the Tulane, but on live stream, ESPN would.
We don't want to get it taken down.
Would likely shut down the stream. So we've got to watch what we can watch.
Sorry, bud. That's how the sausage is made. All right. Any more you want to watch of this guy before we move on to the other 2 kind of supplementary candidates, I guess, right now? We don't know. It's still pretty early in the process.
Bill also asked about the O-line scheme. I think they're pretty similar. We've seen some power, a little bit of counter with Craddock, but duo, I think it's all very similar.
We're seeing more 2-back sets out of Craddock too. I think that's really interesting because that's what we were calling for.
I kind of agree with you, Bill. I kind of agree with that. I think that would look pretty good.
I don't think this film is doing Craddock too much justice because he's putting together a really good Tulane team. So
yeah,
Go in and watch his Tulane team when you get a chance. They run the ball really effectively. They do a bunch of different formations. The stuff very similar to what Marion was doing. Maybe a little bit less kind of gimmicky and extreme in terms of formational diversity, but
Under
still very
center.
similar.
Yeah, and honestly, if this guy is the hire, we just won't have a live stream. We'll just watch. We'll watch the Tulane. Don't worry. We'll get you what you need. Don't worry about it, boys. All right. Another name that's been if you guys are ready to move on.
Mm-hmm.
So another name that's been mentioned is Ben Arbuckle. He's the Washington State offensive coordinator. He has been there for 2 years. Washington State was just ranked before I watched the game. Actually, I think they just lost to New Mexico. Yeah. They got loboed, so that's tough. What do we think about him? They haven't in now in terms of package deals. I don't know, dude. This is a West Coast guy. They seem to throw the ball a lot more. In terms of package deals, that kid John Mateer, who's the quarterback for them, that would be an interesting package deal to me if this guy ended up becoming a contender. But what do you see at Washington State? I've always had a soft spot for the Cougars because I'm a Leach guy.
Same.
So Arbuckle. I know you do too.
In 2022, they were 57th in F+. Then small improvement to 42nd the year later with Cam Ward at Washington State. And then this year they took a really big jump up. So right now F+ has them as the 18th best offense in the country. Yeah. So let's look at their passing splits. Again, really trying to push the ball down the field. Don't throw a lot of intermediate. So that's one thing that's a little different. So that 11 to 20 yard range is not really there. And
that is Cam Ward. So this is from 2023,
this is 2023.
Right?
This is from 2023.
Yeah, so same OC then. Their offense is a little bit more efficient now. Throw the ball about 60% of the time. That's good for 11th in the country. Oh, no, sorry, 48% of the time. That's 70th in the country. So they're less true air raid than Washington State teams of the past. And then
what splits?
Run game wise, yeah, we're seeing power and counter coming up a lot. So a gap team.
But you noticed a difference right away, Adam, in the splits on the line.
Yeah, I mean they're not crazy. They're just a little wider than what you see sometimes in pass pro.
Yeah, that's a
Is he from the Leach? Is he from the Leach school?
Let's check it. Let me check out old Ben.
That's pretty decent gap there.
Yeah,
pretty decent split.
So he was at Western Kentucky, and that's a pretty big air raid factory. I'm not sure the connection to Western
Leach
Kentucky.
always like the wide splits.
Yeah, I mean that's an air raid thing.
Yep.
Dude, he's only really. I mean, he was coaching at a high school in Texas in 2020. So this guy,
we've got some quads here, so the tight end should be ineligible.
He's a young guy.
And
oh my God, this guy was born in 1995. Holy crap!
Holy Jesus! A lot of the buzz he might be headed to Oklahoma.
Hey, that's how old I am,
brother. He's 29 years old. I feel like a freaking grandpa. That is interesting, man. Dude. These are all young. These are all young dudes.
Yeah, but they're not young. We're just old, Trey.
Oh man, don't do that to me. Don't get me with the Uno reverse.
I'm older than you, so I don't even want to hear it.
I know, but you got that nice youthful glow.
Shut the hell up.
I don't know, man. Nobody knows how old you are. All right, a lot of traditional shotgun stuff. What do you guys see here?
I mean, you're just gonna get air raid concepts. I think they run them. I think they run them well. I think what's a little bit different is, what the numbers are heavily skewed towards gap scheme, which is kind of weird for air raid.
Delaware glow.
That's right, dude. That chicken collagen, eating all that chicken skin.
Will he be able to recruit the South? I think that's a legitimate question. I think that's right now the only one I think that you could say yes is Brennan Marion. even with Craddock, it's a question mark.
At least Craddock has regional ties from like the Arkansas and the Clemson stuff. This guy would be a true wild card. And it would definitely revitalize the passing game. And it would be, if he made a hire like this, like Adam said, it seems like he's probably Oklahoma bound. Not 100% sure right now. But this would be like Mike is looking to change. Like it would be very interesting.
It would be a massive shift.
You'd have to surround him with some dog recruiters from the Southeast for sure.
I think he makes more sense to go to an Oklahoma or something. He has one commit to his name, a 3-star. So per 247. So I don't think he's someone who's been a recruiting wizard, but he hasn't really even been around very long.
But you don't have to recruit in the air raid.
Yeah,
the scheme's so good it doesn't matter. You can have whoever play. You can have me and you playing back there.
Ugh. All this passing game. Ugh.
You don't like it, make you sick to your stomach, huh? Do you get why he's a hot name though right now, Adam?
Absolutely. Stuff is dynamic. It's fun.
Oh, dude, I want to record that for posterity.
Did AB throws the ball all over the field and he's to play 25.
Oh, Cliff M. I'm sold on Marion now.
Oh,
look at what you did, AB.
When Brendan put the tee up, and if you guys are part of Noles 24/7, Brendan put some tee up there earlier about what he's kind of hearing about the coordinator stuff, and then just coaching talk in general. There was a lot of mixed emotions, especially around the OC hire. People are either all in on Brennan Marion or all out, and I don't quite understand
I don't know the polarization. I don't know if it's the bravado. It's like I get maybe from first glance at like watching this, like, oh, this is a gimmicky. The principles that that offense is founded on are sound, and what they're trying to do, get favorable looks, is what every offense is trying to do. They're just doing
run game. It's not all quarterback run game.
We can turn this off, Kev. I think maybe we can talk about maybe we can just talk about the guys that because we don't have Cade Bell. Cade Bell's the other guy. We don't have Pitt.
No,
So Cade Bell's the other guy, son of Kerwin Bell. He was the OC at Western Carolina from 2021 to 2023. He actually has the Pittsburgh University, the University of Pittsburgh, they have a good offense, and it's since he's got there. So that means a lot to me because that is a offensive wasteland, and I live in Iowa, so I know what those type of schools look like.
Yeah, they jumped from 112 to 58 per F plus. So a decent offense. They very pass heavy. 60 plus % of the time they're throwing the football. They look very different. They very inside zone, just as a kind of change up to their pass game more than they're trying to run the ball as a first thing. So yeah, Pitt is wildly different than the rest of them.
And no ties to Mike. I don't think Cade Bell has any ties to Mike that I know.
The ties are to the university, obviously.
Yeah. So that's it, guys. I don't know if there's any burning questions that the chat has. Adam, is the chat kind of one way or another? Are they as polarized on Marion now?
I think maybe we've sold some folks on Marion.
Offensive coordinator of Indiana was brought up. I have seen.
Well, he was brought up by Nakos from on three. What is that? Shanahan and was it Tino Sinceri? Also is a guy.
That's interesting.
He was also at he's also at Indiana. I think he's a quarterback's coach. Really dynamic quarterback coach. I would be very interested in him coming to Florida State to be the quarterback coach.
Coming back to Florida State.
Yeah, that is a hire that would intrigue me very much. I think he would get these quarterbacks right.
Yeah, Indiana's offense right now, they're very RPO heavy. They're just trying to get their guys' numbers, make reads easy on the quarterback. And by RPO, I don't mean like triple option like most people are thinking. It's too many people get read option and RPO mixed up.
Right. Not our
RPO.
Not our viewers.
You're trying to throw the ball. don't need to be fast to run RPO. So they run RPOs, lots of screens, lots of RPOs, slants, lots of RPO. That they get real creative with it, and their offense is really dynamic off of it. So I like what Indiana is doing right now. I think a little bit I think they've kind of leaned into the future a little bit there, and I think it's fun to watch them right now. So take your time.
They just gave Signetti a huge contract extension and gave him a lot of money to keep his staff around. So I would be surprised if any of those guys are going anywhere.
Even Tino?
Yeah, I mean, I think Tino was going to leave. It would probably be for an OC gig, and like if you hire Brennan Marion, are you going to make him co-OC with Tino? It just doesn't make that doesn't make a ton of sense to me.
Yeah, I don't know. You do passing game. He could be quarterback coach, passing game coordinator. You could do one of those titles or whatever. But yeah, I'm with you. It'd just be interesting to have a guy who people really liked when he was here come back.
I think it would be a hell of a hire. I agree.
We'll see. I'd say with any of the top two, I know that when you're in such a dark place as like the Florida State fan base, right? The name, big names, splash hires.
Yeah, I want them to hire Dan Mullen too, but it's not gonna happen.
That'd be kind of cool.
I'd feel good with Craddock or Marion. I don't know if I have a preference at this point. I'd like to watch a little bit more Tulane, a little bit fresher footage, but like I like what they're trying to do. I like what they're built on, and it's not so diametrically opposed to like the type of offenses that Mike Norvell wants to coach, to where you're like having this like clash, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like they could synergize and like work together really well. So I think with either dude, man, I think you're in a good spot.
Yeah, I kind of want to address a couple of ideas. I've seen people for both offensive and defensive coordinator bring up NFL experience being something that's important. I kind of disagree with this. I think they're just so wildly different games. I mean, how many times did Kentucky bring back some guy with NFL experience, or Georgia just to massively underperform offensively? They're different games that require different teaching styles, and I don't think that should necessarily be something that we're looking for. Not that people should be discounted if they work in the NFL. It's just such a different game.
And Kev, practically, like, why the hell would you want to leave the league to come to college now with everything being in flux, the recruiting calendar, the transfer portal? Like these guys they get paid very well, but they're under a hellacious schedule. And if you're in the league, I think I'd probably take that right now. That would be my preference. But yeah, that's interesting. That's a good point that you brought up.
Another thing is, like if you can somehow pull a coach, an offensive coordinator who's at another school, at a decently big school, if you can pull someone that could bring some transfers with him, that's not one of the names that we listed. So you can find someone, I don't know. I'm not going to say names of schools, but say like a mid-tier SEC team, pull their offensive coordinator, bring some of their more talented guys over with them in the transfer portal. Like that might be something that happens that we're not talking about. But that's something that would be intriguing. That makes sense for a quick turnaround.
And I'm with you, dude. They have so many needs in this transfer portal. Like having some people connected with some talented dudes to make that job a little bit easier, because that's where the real work is going to happen. It's going to be tough.
Yeah. Pete the Greek, it seems like Mike's maybe going to step away from being primary play caller and going to jump into more of a CEO role, but I mean, we'll see.
We don't know yet. Yeah,
it's all opinion at this point. We don't know for sure. I don't think anybody knows what's in Mike's head. Can Marion recruit is a thing from Spencer Gordon? Yes, he is a dynamic recruiter.
Let's see.
And Zach, we were talking to Zach today in the group chat, and he was very confident in Brennan's recruiting ability. And if Zach has that opinion of somebody like that, I'm not worried about that aspect of his game.
Yeah, he pulled a 5-star at Texas, a couple 4-stars.
Yeah, he'll be fine. Any other things we'd like to mention before we get out of here and get ready for Charleston Southern Week?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
I think we did it all.
Next week we'll see see where we're at. Maybe we'll do a little film review because they might get a win.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be
It would
nice to look
they
at a
might
dub.
get
It'd be lovely.
Yeah, maybe just get 20 points first, and we'll go from there. Get a nice little dubby. Get some revenge for Derwin back in the day. These dirty.
Ooh, good
I
call.
remember these dirty Buccaneers. I've never been a fan of this program, the way they do things. But yeah, guys, we'll be back next week. Once again, this was just a high level overview. Once the sites start to really narrow in, we will deep dive on all of this stuff, offense, defense, everything like that. But to know who's out there.
Bleh.
Yeah, right. That'll be fun. I'm sure you guys are fun for that. We'll see. Noles247.com. Keep abreast of all of the new info. Recruiting is something right now, but the coaching news is fun to follow. So go on Noles247.com, subscribe, get on the message board, yell, cheer for your guy, yell at somebody else for liking that guy, whatever, engage. We'll be there. We'll talk to you. And guys, just thanks for hopping on with us. We love you. Long season, almost over. We know, we feel it too. We're here with you through all of it. Keep chopping. I forgot how long the chops go on a live stream.